Welcome back, folks, to another episode of Farm Simulator 2022. We have dirty equipment, actually. Let's kick a tire and get started. We have some more money at top. We'll talk about that in a little bit. That has to do with the stream we did last week. For me, it's actually been a week and a half since I last played. The last time I played was actually the stream that we did do. With that being said, we had a good question in the comments, and today we're gonna start into stuff slow, but we gotta do some contracts. We can't just go into buying 45 fields and doing crazy stuff. You pull a muscle. So let's start with the contracts. And right now, let's go check out. Oh, first let's check what's on sale. There's a Bobcat that I really would like to get that, but we don't need it right now. Otherwise, I absolutely would get that. That being said, let's check at contracts. There's only baling contracts. We'll talk a little bit more about this in a minute. But I had a really good question on one of the last videos, and that's how do I choose what equipment I'm going to use from the contracts. And there's a perfect example, and we're going to do these contracts today now. But there's a really good example of how to pick your stuff right now. So this one right here, we're going to look at field 170 and 187. They're both hay ones. So you can see, mow the grass, dry it, take it to the farmer's market. This one you can see is 1.5 acres up at the top underneath her name there. And this one is 4.0. So even though the contracts may look similar, they're actually a huge difference, believe it or not. This one makes a lot of money per acres. And this one has much different equipment. So getting back to the equipment question, how do I choose the equipment I'm going to use? Well, what I'll do is I'll find generally the best equipment, the most efficient equipment to do the job. So this one's got the front and back mowers, a big tedder, a pretty decent rake, a square baler, which is huge because that saves you time. You don't have to stop and let a round bale out. Plus, it has that bale trailer. You can see over here, smaller mower, smaller tractor, round baler, no round bale thing. And the lease this equipment's $199. This one is $511. Now, even though this equipment is more, we're going to borrow the items for that contract and take it. We're actually going to do these contracts to start out with. For you guys, it might not have been very long, but for me, it definitely has. It's been probably a week and a half, 2 weeks. Now, another thing to note is a lot of time when you get to fertilizing contracts, if I remember, we get to a fertilizing contracts, it'll offer the same equipment and the cost of it will be different. So, for example, right here, actually, I just happened to stumble upon this. You can see this is different equipment, are the same equipment, right? Let me just double check. Looks like all the same equipment. Yeah, it looks like the same equipment. And one of them you're paying a lot more for the lease equipment. So that would be 126. That would be 48. So if I was going to do these two contracts, I would borrow the equipment for the cheaper one and then go ahead and use it for both. Because you can take any um, you can take any contract equipment and use it for other contracts, with that being said. So, well, actually, this equipment is pretty darn cool because we actually, you can see this has a swathing mode on these mowers, which we're going to get into down the road, but it makes it nice so we'll be able to pull in that right side. The reason I'm pulling in the right side is so that it's not close to the edge, and our tedder doesn't have to throw it all over the road and get it all over the place here. This is the tedder we are using. Not a bad tedder here. But this is a 340 horsepower case. Seems like a bit of overkill for this ye old tedder. Oh man, good tractor though. This might be one of our goals to get one of these, this Magnum maybe later on. I've used it a few times and it's been nothing but awesome. I really do like this thing. Now back to what we were talking about at the beginning of the episode. We're late in April 2nd. We did a live stream. You guys kind of were asking about it. It was a lot of fun. We did silage and actually did some silage contracts, a fertilizer contract, and got to play with some new equipment. So that was actually quite a bit of fun. Um, so if you guys do want to go back, you can go ahead and watch. But otherwise, a few things. We're not always going to do contract work on this series. As our farm gets bigger, we'll need we'll have less and less time to do contracts, and we'll need less and less money. Um, Now, we did gain some money there. I don't plan on doing that too often, but every once in a while, we might do a little stream where we do some contracts or something, just because you guys seem to have really enjoyed that. This baler is making short work of these. Square balers are definitely the way to go if you have the option. They're just quicker, but it is a little harder to move them big bales around early game, especially early game. We do have two of these bales left in the field, but I may take them to the second contract because I think these are actually going to finish the contract here. I'm not 100% sure. We'll see. Oh, yeah. And we're going to get a little bit of cash from it. Now, we can't go in here and do our contract dealio and take it because we'll lose our equipment. So we got to go do field 170. I actually was going to keep a couple extra bales, but as you can see last episode, we must have kept a couple already, so that's good to know. For our second field here at 170, I think we're going to do a montage here, guys, so let's get going. This should be enough to complete the contract. It is all the bales, so well, it's already finished. We got a fair amount of extra cash. So let's go ahead up and let's wait for the autosave because perfect timing. And then we'll go ahead and collect our moolah. So we got $111,000, guys. Now let's get into the rest of the episode. I think today we need to get into making our own money. And the first easy step we're going to do is we are going to put in a greenhouse. Now, I know that we're not looking for easy way outs, but this is a part of the game, and we're only going to do one, and that's only because a production or two down the road I want to do relies on this greenhouse. So, with that being said, I think we're going to place it right there. No whammies. Hopefully this looks good. And then hopefully we have enough room behind it. I don't mind if it's a little tight. Um, I kind of like to get the most out of the yard that we can here. So now for the greenhouse, for anybody that is newer to the game, this is a good starter way to get into it. So let's go ahead and check our deals. We are actually going to go ahead and make, I think we're going to start with lettuce, but you can see we're missing materials. We're missing water. So we're going to have to buy a water container here, folks. A way to move water around. I think we're going to use this right here to move around water. Now, it is a very cheap option. Also, if you guys are wondering what mods these are from, if you look on the bottom, if it's from a mod, it'll say like that one is SMP in apostrophe or in the parentheses a mod. So I think we're gonna go with this one. And I'm thinking we could go maybe give it a nice look to it. Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. I think I'd like that. And I think because it's a little on the bigger side and we have a little bit of extra money, I actually think we're going to go ahead and get a pickup to move this around. And I feel like this would be a really fitting to our equipment here. Now, there's a ton of options on this thing. Wheel cap. I think, let me go ahead and paint this up and kind of just see what's the options we're going to have on this thing. But I think it's time we get a pickup to, move our little trailers around and help us out look for land and stuff. So we've added a trailer hitch. We put the backside on because I don't really plan on having too much in the back, but if I do, I want to have the support board on it because that looks like it would definitely help keep stuff in the back. So I think we're going to go ahead and purchase this. Let's head over to the shop here. Oh my gosh, that trailer's big. I am glad I got this pickup. Hopefully it'll pull it, but I don't think our little tractor would have pulled this thing full. Oh my gosh, what in the world? I guess, to hold 10,000 liters, it's going to need to. So let's go ahead, check this thing out. It is fancy on the inside, isn't it? All right, let's go ahead, see if this is actually free water that comes off of our roof. And, oh, it actually is, but it looks like it may take a while to fill up here, guys. Yeah, this truck has 160 horse, and it can barely pull this trailer. So definitely, I think the tractors would have had some serious issues with it. Let's go ahead and actually unload the water here. I don't remember how much this takes. I used to remember how much the greenhouses took. I see it's unloading much quicker. Now, as you can see, it has started growing once we got it filled up. I actually did put the trailer back over here, so it could take another 3 hours to load up, but I'm okay with that. It's early game. We can at least do our own greenhouse, and we should, in the next episode, see a couple pallets start to come over here starting in May. With that being said, it is partway through the day. We're not going to get a full run for the next month, but I can't wait, guys. Once we get into May, we got some crazy stuff going on. So, With that being said, guys, I will see you next time, folks. Have a good one.